I need more vocabulary, Tanya, is something I hear a lot from my clients. If you feel stuck with your English because you don't have the vocabulary to express yourself fluently and clearly, stay with me as we look at the best way of acquiring vocabulary in such a way that you don't even notice, in a painless way. In a way that does not create hardship or struggle. On the contrary, in an enjoyable way. If you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and invite the bell to be notified every time I upload new content, which will be relevant to you if you are looking to overcome a learning plateau, if you're stuck at a level below the one you would like, and you're looking to become proficient in English. If we haven't met yet, my name is Tanya Meyer, and I'm an English as a foreign language teacher to adults, specializing in mindfulness practices to bring clarity, understanding, and joy to your English language learning process. And in this video, we're going to be looking at the main way of expanding your vocabulary in such a way that you feel equipped and relaxed about expressing yourself in English in your day-to-day context. So if you're ready, let's get started. Okay, the number one way of acquiring vocabulary in English or any other language is by reading. Not that there aren't other things that you can do. There are, and I'll share a few of those in a minute. But seriously, if you want to have a healthy vocabulary bank, be fluent and articulate in English, you need to nurture yourself with English. Think about how often you read in English, and that will be directly proportionate to the health of your vocabulary in English. Now, you might be thinking, what? Read in English? I don't even read in my own language. I don't like reading. Okay, I understand. No problem. Let's talk about this. The first thing to remember is that reading can be incredibly enjoyable if we know how to set up the right conditions. And don't worry, setting up the right conditions requires two things, and they're very simple. But it's just that we rarely take the time to do this. And remember also that we can always train ourselves to become better readers. No matter what age you are, or where you live, or what you do, reading with more frequency is something that is going to bring immeasurable benefits to your English and to your life. Now, many of us think we don't like reading because we open a book and we're confronted with this dense text and we think, oh, that's too much. Or, oh, I don't have time for this. We want the quick fix, the summary, the film version. And we think that actually reading something from beginning to end is somewhat of a waste of time. Well, that isn't correct. But that doesn't mean that reading the summary or taking shortcuts is wrong or that you shouldn't do it. Not at all. There's room for that, and you can certainly learn a lot that way. But it isn't the only way. Reading something from beginning to end is an investment, and it's also highly rewarding and motivating. Here are the two things you need. The first is that you need to choose what to read. And the second is that whatever you choose must be at your level of English, or perhaps one little bit higher than your level, but not more than that. If you open a book and you cannot understand the third word, the fifth word, the seventh word, the ninth word, then that book is above your level and it's not a good idea to try and read that book. But if you open a book and only some words you don't understand, few words you don't understand, then this is a book that you will enjoy. Now, depending on your level, it makes sense to read materials that have been created specifically for English learners, including articles and short stories and so on. But once you reach higher levels of English, then it might not be necessary to read everything from created materials for English learners, and you can start moving into authentic materials. Authentic materials are texts that have not been written specifically with English learners in mind. They have been written for English speakers. So depending on your level, you're going to choose what to read. But the trick is to read extensively. That is, read a book or a novel or a biography or an autobiography. Something that you can enjoy from beginning to end and that you won't read in one sitting. You know, something that you can read over the course of a week or even a few weeks, and that you can pick up and remember where you left off and continue from there and create this thread of connected information that you're reading and that you're enjoying. Because you see, the magic of reading is that our brains are hardwired to absorb the words we read like a sponge and make deductions about meaning, as long as we're reading at our level or just one level higher. Because what our brain wants to do is to understand the message. So as long as you're reading something that's at your level, your brain will be so happy organizing, categorizing, and storing all of this new language so that you are able to use it later when you need it. In other words, when you're reading for pleasure, that is, when your focus is on the content, on what is happening, and not on acquiring new vocabulary, because then it's like, oh, I'm studying English, and that's not what we want. What we want is for you to enjoy the story. Then all you do is exactly that. You enjoy the content of your book, and you trust your amazing brain to do its job. I'm going to leave a link below to Penguin ELT readers. Penguin is a publishers, and they have ELT readers. Readers are simplified books according to your level of English, and where 1 is elementary and 4 is intermediate and 7 is advanced. So you choose the level that you're in, and then from that level you have a catalog. Choose one of the books because it's a book that you want to read. Great books to read are classics, but you can choose from contemporary or non-fiction. And then just start with one book. Have you ever read a book in English? Comment below. What book did you read? What was it like? Did you read it from cover to cover? Did you enjoy it? Let us know. Share. Sharing is caring. Right. What else can you do to expand your vocabulary in English? Well, you need 2 reference books at least. The first is a good English dictionary. Here's mine. It's Macmillan's English Dictionary for Advanced Learners, and I bought this almost 20 years ago, and I continue to use it today. So even when a dictionary might be a bit of an investment, if you think that you'll be using it for at least 20 years, if not longer, then it becomes worthwhile, right? Now, some of us, for ease of reference, might just find it easier to look for words online. I do it too, and you know what? That's fine. Of course, it's very useful to have online dictionaries where we can look up a word and find its meaning. No problem. But there's something about having a physical dictionary which really helps process language in a more holistic way than looking up individual words on an online dictionary. That's the thing, that on an online dictionary, words seem isolated from each other. It's just that one word. And so connecting it or seeing the connection between the word and the language is more challenging to do, I think, when you only use an online dictionary. A physical dictionary usually includes additional features, such as picture sections, for example, or a whole section on language awareness. But most importantly, having access to all English words together in a compact book and to be able to distinguish between common and not so common words because they're marked in red and black, their pronunciation, their form, is it an adjective, is it a noun, is it a verb, level of formality, definition, example sentences, common phrases and uses, all neatly organized in alphabetical order, is a key resource at your fingertips. Of course, if you prefer to use an online dictionary, that's fine too. Just make sure it's somewhere easily available on your browser. And you can do this by creating an English resources bookmark and then adding whatever you find useful into that bookmark, including your favorite English dictionary. The second reference book that's an absolute game changer, if what you want is to expand your vocabulary, is a thesaurus. What is a thesaurus, you might ask? Well, it is a book that groups words according to synonyms and associated words. Have you ever had that experience where you're looking for a word in your mind and you just cannot find it? Perhaps you can find the opposite of the word you're looking for, or you can find a word that's kind of the one you're looking for, but not the one you're looking for. Well, that is what a thesaurus is for, because you can look for either the opposite and then find the one that you're looking for, or an associated word, and then the thesaurus is very likely to give you the exact word you're looking for, or an even better option. And the beauty about a thesaurus is that while you're looking for that word or that phrase, your brain is making all of these neural connections with all of the associated words that you're going through or scanning in order to find the word that you're looking for. It happened to me today, actually, that I was speaking with someone on the phone, and the word that I needed at that moment was lucid. Lucid as in, awake and alert and able to express yourself freely. But I couldn't find the word lucid in my mind as I was speaking. And the word that came to mind was senile, the opposite of lucid. A thesaurus is an absolute godsend, a blessing, something wonderful. Because what you can do is search for the wrong word, and the thesaurus will give you the word that you're looking for. Okay, what else can you do to improve your vocabulary? Well, note-taking. Note-taking is an excellent way of processing information, even if you never look at your notes again. Either handwritten, which science has shown to be extremely effective, and I recently filmed a video about how to set intentions for the future, and I talk about note-taking in that video, which I will leave a link to right here for you to watch, preparing for something new by setting intentions. And I talk about how useful note-taking is, but also note-taking for the purposes of expanding your vocabulary, very useful, because once you have the item of vocabulary that you want to retain, then you can do all kinds of things with it. You can note its translation into your own language, its pronunciation, its definition, common phrases that you might find that word or phrase being used with. And then, of course, you can try and create your own sentences using that item of vocabulary. The final step is to get some feedback from a coach, a teacher, or an English-speaking friend. Your note-taking can be physical, like I say, or you can open up a Google Doc that you can call, My English Vocabulary, and then save it under your English folder bookmark. Or you can create a spreadsheet where each column has a different function. The first column is the item of vocabulary, and then whatever else you want to add about that word. And like I say, it isn't really that important to be studying your worksheet or your document or your notebook after you have entered an item of vocabulary. That's not what's important. In fact, you might never look at that spreadsheet again for that item of vocabulary, but you will have recorded it and it will be processed. And when it comes to expressing yourself in English, you might not even use exactly that word, but something has happened, something magical has happened in your brain that it's able or that you're able to express yourself freely and naturally in English because you've done this work of processing language by writing. Here's what I know to be true about expanding your vocabulary. Start simple and then keep simple. Always choose the path of least resistance. Now, does that mean, in that case, do nothing or do as little as possible? No. It means do whatever is in front of you already that you can see and that you can do without making things more complicated than they need to be. For example, if you've never recorded vocabulary before, then start by writing one item, whether it's a word or a phrase or an expression that you want to retain, and then include information about it. How do you say that in your own language? What part of speech is it? Can you write an example sentence using that item? Yes, you don't need to write more than one item of vocabulary every time you write a note. Just the one is fine. Keep it simple. Maybe the next time you add a word to your list, you'll add other things. Instead of a translation, you'll be able to write a definition or just the form, that it's a verb or that it's used in this way or that way. Or you might write the actual sentence that you heard where a piece of vocabulary is being used that you want to keep, and then you just underline it. There's lots of ways of recording and processing information. The important thing is to keep your notes or your spreadsheet alive by continuously adding to it. Of course, you can also play word games, which are great fun, and you can read comics in English. National Geographic, for example, has a series of classic novels in comic form, and I'll leave a link to that below also for you to explore. And there are lots of word games that you can play. There's Scrabble, there's Wordle, there's Wordscapes and crosswords and many other things that you can do with vocabulary. But seriously, the most useful, the one where you will really feel expanded and rich in terms of vocabulary is concerned, the most helpful one is by far reading in English. Read something that you want to read and read it at your level or a little bit higher, but not more than that so that you can really enjoy. Okay, so that's it from me for today. Remember to give this video a thumbs up if it was useful for you in any way, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.